this video, we're going to talk a little bit about how to concatenate parameters together, as well as to create hyperlinks inside of Dorophis. First thing I'm going to do is open up the items overview, and we're going to look at an item that I've already created here and show a little bit about how the hyperlinks work first. If I select this item, you'll see that I've created a Japanese translation link. So if I click on that link, it actually takes me to the Google Translate site. And all we're really doing is we're translating the word combination into Japanese. Let me show how this works in Dorophis and how we've created this ability to combine a parameter with a hyperlink. Under the administration settings, under items, and under the composite text, that's the feature that we're talking about now, you'll see that I've created a composite text condition here. So I called it Japanese, and the grouping is translate. And then all I've done is I've taken the URL that Google does when it's trying to translate a word that's English into a Japanese word, and then I've added a condition at the end here. And we have a little bit of help text down here at the bottom that explains how this works, but essentially we would add a field, in this case the item name, into this formula to then create the ending condition to that URL. So some other examples of this might relate to how you might be researching color or carpet. So in these two conditions, I've created a similar condition where we're using the item name to then use the Sherwin-Williams website to search from. And we're also using the Shaw Carpet website for Shaw Floor to then do a search as well. And in this case, instead of it being at the end, I've actually nested the item name into the middle of the URL. So next I'm going to go into the items overview, and we're going to look at some of those examples. I'm going to create a new item group for carpet. And I'll just create a sample item in here for carpet. The carpet name I'm going to put in is just red. Let's say that we're exploring a red carpet. So now what you'll see is one of these combinations down here for our carpet is now using red inside of the URL. So if I do a search for that, it will actually take us to the Shaw website, and it will now do a search for everything that relates to red. What I can do from here is I can filter this down to just the carpet, and now I can see all of the red carpet associated to this option. So the same thing could be true if I created a blue one. So let's make another item here. Let's call this one blue. And now you'll see that the URL has updated based on the item name for blue. So when I select this link, this is now going to do a search for all of the carpet that might relate to blue. We can do the same thing for paint. So let's create another one here for paint. And we'll do the same thing. I'll do a blue paint here. And in this case, the combination is going to use our Sherwin-Williams website. And you'll see that paint is part of that formula inside of the URL. And now we're seeing all the paint chips that relate to blue. So this could be a helpful tool when you're trying to do some research and you know that you're constantly searching several different websites to create that concatenation. So in this case, we're seeing how this works with the hypertext. Next, I'm going to show how we can create a concatenation of existing parameters into another field. And in this example, I'm going to go into the administration settings, and under items, I'm going to go to occurrences. Now I'm using occurrences in this case because I can combine parameters that are items and parameters that relate to rooms. So in this example, I'm trying to get a quantity of how many items are in a room, and I want this to be in a single parameter field. So in this case, I have in room, I have a placeholder, and that placeholder is in the first position, so that's what the 0 represents. So in room, it's going to put in the room number. I have a quantity of, it's going to put the quantity of those items, and then the item reference is going to be the end of that condition. So now if I go back into my items overview, and I look at an example of an item that I have some occurrences on, Now, when I look at the occurrence properties, you'll notice that the occurrence properties now have an in item room count that does the full formula for me. In room 121, I have a quantity of 60 CH1s. So this is where you could create a concatenation of any parameter that relates to items or relates to rooms, and even combine them together into an item parameter. And what's nice about this particular condition for this occurrence is now I could actually run an Excel export, and this could be a single field. I could also work with this as it relates to pushing it into Revit. So if I wanted to combine a series of parameters like the room name, room number, and some other fields to create another concatenated field, I can do that with this new conditions.